Welcome along, everyone. So, busy show this evening. We have Keith Andrews, who was in conversation with John Giles earlier on today. So we'll have Keith talking to John around 7:30 or so. We have Eddie Brennan in studio, Kilkenny legend, 8 All-Irelands, Eddie Brennan, 11 Leinsters, 4 All-Stars. And at the age of 40, he's in a club Leinster final this weekend. So we'll chat to him. And obviously he's managing Laois as well at the moment. And we'll talk to the Guardian's David Conn as well, who has been spending time in Qatar, 4 years out from the World Cup. 53106, the text number. We are at Off the Ball on Twitter. We have Richie with us. Hello, Richie.
Hey, Joe.
And the Irish Daily Star's chief sports writer, Kieran Cunningham, here as well. Hello.
Hello.
So I was reading David Conn's piece, just a brief aside. David Conn, brilliant journalist with The Guardian, spent some time over in Qatar. And it seems there's something funny with my microphone, isn't there?
It's kind of clicking in and out.
No, it's just, it seems like it's not catching it. We're having a few of these issues lately. No, don't do desk. Look, God, don't do desk, Mike. We'll stick with it a second. You're not getting it there? It's not working? Is working? That's a bit better? Sorry, everyone. That's a nuisance for you all. I apologise. The most interesting takeaway I had from the David Conn piece, and there's lots of interesting takeaways, I am wrestling with this, as you can hear, is that, you know, we heard about the air-conditioned stadiums, and that was proved to be pseudoscience. There's something funny going on there. Yeah. This isn't really... Do you
want to lend a mine?
No, I'll just have to crack on. I mean, mic 1. It's not working. The air-conditioned stadiums, which I thought was pseudoscience and gone and not happening.
Yeah.
It now turns out is happening. Works brilliantly. David Conn was in a stadium and it was outside and air conditioned and it was lovely and crisp and cool. So
how?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a miracle, really. Dr. Saud Ghani is the doctor, studied over in the UK, has gone back to Qatar University now. He's developed a technology. They're saying, you know, this is the potential uses for this are endless out in that part of the world, from playgrounds to all outdoor areas. So it seems in 4 years' time, there will now be air-conditioned stadiums. I just thought this was written off as a pitch initially. Well, we can do this, and then it proved we can't do this.
Is that an eco-friendly?
Oh, of course it's not.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
They're air-conditioning a stadium outside. I mean, we're burning the planet as quickly as we can, but the World Cup will be more comfortable, is the point.
Yeah. It's interesting because the World Athletics Championships is there
next year,
next year, end of next September, early October, and like the marathon, I think, starts at midnight.
Right.
Because of temperatures, so it's going to be a very strange event.
Yeah, well, he's on the way after 9 o'clock on the football show. Usual tales of awfulness from the migrant workers, as you can imagine.
Yeah. How have you been celebrating, though? Do you know the great news? The
great news that hurling is finally
recognised.
The hurling
is officially great.
I saw this headline and haven't had time to click in on it just yet, so I'm not sure of the details. What is the story?
Well, I think Richie's commented in the Newsround in a while anyway, but...
I'll let you take it, Kieran, to be honest.
Okay, thanks. But a couple of years ago, UNESCO, they put forward this thing that they wanted to have a list of protected cultural activities. And 3 were put forward for
UNESCO
Ireland.
being...
the United Nations, is it Economic and Social Cultural Organisation, something like that?
Sounds about right.
It's a social cultural body of the UN anyway.
Right,
so.
okay.
But 3 have been put forward for Ireland.
Educational, scientific and cultural organisation.
Okay, it was close. Not bad.
Yeah, well done.
Not bad guess. But hurling was put forward. Uilleann piping got in last year. And UCD, I think UCD Folklore Archive was put forward. But hurling has got in now. And I was very curious, like, what else is in this list other than Uilleann piping and hurling, and there's hundreds of things like from countries all over the world, but there's some bizarre ones like shrimp fishing on horseback. I haven't made that up. Shrimp fishing on horseback is
where is that?
I can't remember, but
can we get a compromise rules between that and hurling? Or
the beer culture of Belgium is on it. The beer culture of Belgium.
I've had some left.
Is a protected cultural activity according to UNESCO.
So is reggae.
Reggae got in today. Falconry got in today.
Falconry?
Yeah. Oh no, falconry might have already been on, but falconry is in as well.
So Richie,
there's a lot of little different dances. Trying to say this without ending up like 3 sniggering schoolboys. Tugging contest is on it.
As in...
I have no idea.
Tug a rope, I'd say.
No, I have no idea.
Has to be.
Yeah. I can see how that's an important cultural institution.
Certain parts of England where they wear like massive boots and they're going to do that kind of thing. Yeah.
But isn't it the last thing you want to do is give hurling people more notions, really?
Is it possible?
Yeah. Like there was a presentation by the GA today, and I was looking at the backdrop was something like the fastest and most skillful field sport in the world. And I was thinking, how do you know it's the most skillful? Like, I love hurling. A couple of the best sporting events I've been at this year, by a mile, were hurling games. But how is hurling more skillful than soccer, than a top class? When you see what top class footballers can do,
I think it's
like, why do people say this?
It's the speed and the fact that you're using a separate implement.
You don't believe this? Why are you saying that?
I'm not saying it. I'm putting forward what the case might be. I'm an impartial journalist here, Kieran, as well. You know.
Do you think football is more skillful than hurling, soccer?
Well, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you?
I've given it no thought, actually. Seriously, I'm trying to think now.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly there's a bigger variation in the ways that you can manipulate a football. You know?
Can they not just both be skillful?
Yeah,
this
of course,
This is like trying to compare bands.
Yeah, but that's the thing, like, why, well...
That's his point. Why are the GAA claiming the most skillful tag? That's Kieran's point. How dare they?
but that's it. They're obsessed with this, we have the best
because they don't like that soccer crowd, that's why.
Yeah.
It probably is genuinely the fastest field sport, though. We can give them that.
Yeah, and it's got faster. Like
as opposed to Gaelic football in the 90s. But it probably is the fastest field sport, so you give them that. But skillful is a big old claim, all right, especially for any sport where you carry the ball in your hand.
Yeah, because when you watch elite sport at the top level, whether it's rugby, whether it's American football, whether it's hockey, the skill level is very, like the skill level at top level of sport is very high. Yeah, so I don't know why you make these people have to make these kind of boasts. You can just say it's brilliant and it's one of the only things that's distinctively Irish left, and it's great and we should treasure it. But it would be great if it was played widely in a few counties outside the traditional 7 or 8 that have been there for a long time.
That's the elephant in the room, that there's only about 6 counties who play it.
But that's what bugs me about this. Like all this GA boasting today and going off on some kind of trip to Australia to supposedly promote the game in front of 3,000 people. And you're going, like, promote the bloody games that are on here. Like, why in the last 25 years have only Dublin really come forward as contenders, but at the same time you've lost awfully, so you haven't got any extra county in those 25 years. So.
I mean, you're dead right. I was in good form before I met you, actually. I was feeling all right about things. Now I hate hurling and I'm angry at the GAA. What else do we take a shot at? Has this been bugging
don't
you?
Get me started. PSG.
Have you been watching people celebrate hurling all day on Twitter? Is that why you're? Is that what you're reacting against?
I think people are celebrating something that they, like, what is it? It's like we say, was anybody celebrating with shrimp fishing on horseback?
Well, it's funny you say that. So I just googled that, okay? And there's fantastic pictures of shrimp fishing on horseback. It actually looks fantastic. So
it's the fastest fishing sport in the world.
Fastest growing sport in the world. So they're doing it on the what looks like a beautiful seaside situation, and the horse is maybe up to halfway up its leg.
What country did they do it in?
Water. Well, I'm getting to that. If you give me a second, they would just take it in bit by bit.
So off the country.
So you've a little shot there. So he's gone in the seaside with his horse up to his halfway up his legs in seawater, and he's hauling something behind. Shrimp fishing on horseback, an enduring Belgian tradition. Is the headline.
How did Belgium get 2 in there today?
On the Northwest Belgian coach, there is a little known tradition.
No, they didn't get in today. This was the overall list over the years.
The beer. All right, go on.
Beer culture Belgium is the best.
Is beer culture Ireland not in there? Shrimp fishing on horseback. Visit any good seafood restaurant in the country.
Beer culture of hurling.
And you're bound to see...
Beer culture Northside Dublin.
Grey shrimp on the menu. And so they say the activity consists of what its name describes, fishing shrimp on a horse. To do it, the fishermen drag the fishing nets behind them, picking up the shrimp from the sands while on horseback. Yeah.
What else should we put in, though? Given out about Gaelic football, Frank McNally suggested that today. That's a good one.
Curbs.
Pretending we care what pundits say. Bob Marley jerseys.
Bob Marley jerseys, yeah.
Fake dead footballers.
Ah, no, that was unfortunate.
He's Spanish. We can't put that in.
Oh, okay.
So UNESCO, hurling and camogie, protected cultural activities. Very interesting.
Ticket head.
And what does being protected mean, by the way?
Anyone buying or selling?
George the Greek. And somebody else we can't mention. The case is ongoing, I believe.
What does the new status afford hurling, can I ask? What does this change? By adding hurling to the list...
They can't make hurling in Germany.
The government commits to keeping the game alive.
Nice.
Ensuring respect for it, raising awareness about its importance. The GAA said...
Leo tweeted about it, something.
They have to get a few quid out of it.
I think he mentioned reggae got in as well, so Leo was going for the street cred at the same time.
Right.
Was he wearing his Bows jersey at the time, or...?
Okay. Don't know.
Leo's a North Sider, so you never know.
So, anyway.
It's Castleknock, does that count?
He's Roselawn. He wants to be Castleknock, but he's not. I'll tell you that much for nothing. There's a man who knows that area quite well.
There's a text in. Badminton is apparently the fastest game in the world. I said field sport though.
Yeah.
That's
Because ice hockey is probably
likes smart arts.
ice hockey is
that's the
probably
great line
fastest.
because ice hockey must be faster, surely, or archery.
Shooting.
You know, it's nothing faster than a gun.
Superman.
Yeah. Name our best soccer player in the world. Wouldn't last 2 minutes in a hurling field. I actually do like. Okay,
I know he's awful.
I'm not.
He's the worst great player of all time.
I don't know. I disagree. He's a great player as well. I'm sorry. I just.
But
can't.
he does. Well, he comes. Yeah.
He's very wasteful way too often for me for him to
Yeah.
be truly great. Now he can do
And
extraordinary
he's too
things.
consumed with the bullshit he goes on with. Like, that takes up too much of his time. Last night was ridiculous. Not just the rolling around all the time, but like even the first time he changed his boots. Like, it's all him all the time. And, you know, is that time wasting? Is it just
That's what football is, though.
like why does he do this stuff?
I wouldn't be surprised if we're now approaching a point where it's in their contracts that they have to change their boots a certain number of times a season.
Oh, will
for
be, yeah.
the exposure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it
but
is.
during the game, for no apparent reason last night, in the first half he changed his boots.
That's what I mean. I would think.
Okay.
Listen, I'd say they say Neymar 8 times across the season, so people don't get suspicious. Just change your boots for no reason.
Yeah.
And we're talking big matches. Remember, he was sponsored by an underwear company and kept pulling down his shorts.
Oh yeah.
I'm somebody who knows these things because I frequent these sites. But you know those sites that basically preview like the new jerseys that are coming up the next season, what such and such is going to have, is there, you know, like the Bowsway jersey, etc. Half of those sites are basically like what footballer is wearing what boots at what time, and such is premiering a new pair of boots that are, you know, have an extra tongue or something on them. It's stupid stuff like that earns them their money.
Surely one of the main reasons, says John, hurling isn't popular outside traditional counties is that it's so hard to learn, i.e. too skillful. It's part of it. It is hard to learn for sure, and you do need a hurl and helmet and someone who knows what they're doing. It's easy to just learn football on the hoof. You're saying no to that?
But there has to be a willingness to coach people, you know, that the game is introduced to kids to learn it. Like from what I've seen, kids want to. A lot of kids love it when they're introduced to it. And you see in J clubs in Dublin now, if you take a kid along, they generally start them with hurling before football.
Do they?
Because I think that they do think it does take longer to master.
Well, what was it Gerald Nan said recently in that documentary? You're a late starter if you're 7 or 8 or 9.
Yeah. But Sean O'Halpine was in Australia. He was what, 10 or 11, was it?
That's true.
Ended up as a brilliant hurler. So you can over exaggerate those things as well, I think.
Yeah.
What about Liverpool? What's going wrong with Liverpool in Europe?
Well, John Giles is saying repeatedly they don't have a
Midfield. Well,
a football playing midfield, and that was a phrase Graham Souness used last night. So if the front three are not doing magical things as they were for so much of last season, then they don't seem to have a midfield who can engineer something.
Well, that's
else.
a large part of it. And if you do look at their best performances last season, I think either Coutinho or Oxlade-Chamberlain were part of the midfield. So an extra attacker, not for all the best performance, but for a lot of them that they were in there. But I think the big issue is Firmino. Firmino's just, there's an incredible stat now, because we're only a third through this season, but since the start of last season, he's played 85 games, I think, or 75. I think possibly 75 for club and country. So that takes a huge physical toll, but also a mental toll, because if you think of the Champions League run, getting ready for Champions League final, losing it, having to get up for a World Cup straight away, dealing with an exit in the quarterfinals to Belgium when they were favourites, only got 2 or 3 weeks holiday, I believe, straight back in, and he just hasn't been himself. Like his numbers are going way, way down, and he's the player that's been so central to their present game, and it's just they're really missing something. So I was thinking next week after the Merseyside derby, they played Burnley and Bournemouth before they played Napoli. And he could really do with giving them a week off, but I don't know if he feels he can do that.
It's difficult. Man City are steamrolling everybody,
Except Leon. They haven't beaten Leon 2 attempts.
Well, that's true.
Lost 1, drawn 1.
That is true. The Merseyside derby live, by the way, and off the ball this Sunday. So they are our general thoughts of the day thus far. John Giles on the way around 7:30. Eddie Brennan after 8 o'clock.
They're all sting for that. Get sponsored.
The ills of the day put to bed.
Off the balls, thoughts of the day.
The Newsround is brought to you this evening with Screwfix.ie, champion in the trade with a choice of over 20,000 quality trade products. We get Screwfix to sponsor thoughts of the day as well.
Get that Brain Power Plus that they flog on Alex Jones's site, Infowars.
Oh, God.
So what's going on then?
Celtic need a win this evening to keep alive any realistic hope of making the Europa League knockout phase. They kicked off at 5-6 in the Group B meeting in Trondheim, where it is Rosenborg 0, Celtic 1. That Celtic goal coming 3 minutes before the break from Scott Sinclair. The other game in that group is the Red Bull Derby, where it's Salzburg 0, Leipzig 0, 66 minutes on the clock in that one. Meanwhile, Arsenal also kicked off their Group E meeting with Vorskla at 5-6. Arsenal leading at the moment by 3 goals to 0. They are already qualified, regardless of what happens tonight. Elsewhere in Group E, Sporting are currently 4-1 up away to Karabag. At 8, Chelsea need only a draw from their meeting with PAOK Thessaloniki to be assured of top spot in Group L with a game to spare. There was a 5:55 start in the other Group A game, or the other Group L game, in Belarus this evening, where Bate Borisov are leading Vidi by a goal to 0, while Rangers start the night bottom of Group G but could end the night top with a win over Villarreal. Rapid Vienna currently sit top of that group on 7 points following an injury time. Philip Schobesberger goal gave them a 2-1 win away to Spartak Moscow. Manchester United have triggered the 1-year option on goalkeeper David De Gea's contract. The Spanish international's deal was due to end in the summer, allowing him to sign a pre-contract agreement with overseas clubs in January, wherever United have extended his stay at Old Trafford for at least another year.
Poor David De Gea. It's terrible, really. Michal Ofwe has tweeted in, can you tell Richie it's called pats and not curbs, and a Northsider should know better?
Right.
Oh, it's curbs.
No, it's curbs. Like, what's the element of the game? To hit the ball off the...
If anything, hitting the path is a bad thing to do.
Exactly.
It's the antithesis of the game, pats.
Pats. It's like calling soccer wides.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, actually. I use curbs in my neck of the woods as well.
Get it together, Michael.
I've heard of curbs.
Yeah.
That cost you 30 cents. Katie Taylor looks set to defend her WBA and IBF World Lightweight titles at Madison Square Garden next month. The Olympic gold medalist will face the WBC Super Featherweight title holder Eva Wallström at the iconic New York venue. That's according to reports in Wallström's native Finland. Provided it gets the go-ahead, the fight will be on the undercard of Saul Canelo Alvarez's WBA Super Midweight title meeting with Rocky Fielding on December the 15th. Wallström was unbeaten at professional level, but lost to Taylor in the lightweight final of the European Amateur Championships in Norway way back in the mists of time in 2005.
You're a boxing aficionado. Do you know much about Wallström?
Well, this is, I think this will be our biggest challenge as a pro.
Okay.
Like, this is a good matchup, and they've been very, very keen to get the fights that will propel her, particularly in the States, into the wider public consciousness.
Yeah.
And they were really frustrated after the last fight, which they thought would be far more competitive. And this, like Eva Wallström, she is unbeaten. I think she's 21 fights. She's been around the block, and like I wouldn't pay much heed to the fact that Katie beat her in the amateurs 13 years ago. Like, that's a long, long time for both of them. She is 38. You know, she's 6 years older than Katie, but I think this could be quite a battle for her.
Yeah.
And I think in a way that's what she really wants. She would like a war now to catch the imagination.
2 weeks' notice too short?
Well, she went straight back into training because all along they were like they were looking at a couple of the other women with belts for that date on 15th of December. Yeah, and Rosie Valente. So they were planning to fight on December 15th. And Wallström had another fight lined up, so she's been in training as well.
She was due to fight in St. Petersburg the same weekend. There's
a text in hurling. I hadn't heard this before, actually. So the reason hurling, as we know today, is dominant in the south of the country is because there were once 2 forms of hurling in Ireland. Commons in the north, which was similar to shinty, and Bear in the south. And when it came to standardising the game, Cusack went with a game he was most familiar with from his youth in Clare, so hence the southern counties were all familiar with it. And shinty died away in the north, and hurling.
Yeah, that would be part of it. Another part of it was the land, good land. Like there was far better land in Munster, which.
That should affect football more than hurling. Do you need good land for hurling? Oh, I suppose you do for ground hurling, especially. It
always thrived in the counties with better land.
And it lent itself to ash production down there as well.
Yeah, that's a fair point, yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Anything else?
So maybe UNESCO are right, so after all.
Conor Murray and Chris Farrell will both make their first starts of the season when Munster take on Edinburgh in the Pro 14 tomorrow evening. Both players made their returns from injury off the bench in last week's win away to Zebre. Their introductions among 11 changes made by Johan van Graan, with captain Peter O'Mahony, Andrew Conway, Keith Earls, Dave Kilcoyne, Niall Scannell, John Ryan and Tyke Byrne all returning from international duty. Despite back-to-back Heineken Champions Cup games with Castres on the horizon, Van Graan isn't looking beyond tomorrow night's opponents.
We won't focus on Europe too much yet. Edinburgh, like I said, are a tricky team. They box kick so well. They've got a very specific plan, and they've got some very good broken field runners. I think their they're a team that never gives up, and even they lost the weekends against the Dragons right till the last minute. They could have won it, so that's going to be a tough battle. So we'll focus on this one first. We've got, like I said, the strange thing is the short turnaround from Sunday till Friday, and then the good thing is we've got a long turnaround of 9 days.
I was very happy to see this next story. Tommy Welsh.
Yeah, it would appear that Tommy Walsh is back on the Kerry senior football panel. His Kieran's O'Reilly's manager, Micheál Quirk, has told Radio Kerry that the 30-year-old has been working with New Kingdom boss Peter Keane. Walsh departed the Kerry panel after their 2016 league campaign, frustrated apparently with a lack of playing time. Quirk, though, is sure that Walsh's body can cope with the rigours of a return to intercounty football.
I know he's gone in and he's done some of the conditioning stuff. So yeah, maybe I assume he's on the panel or whatever. But I honestly don't know exactly what his current status is with all that. So like Tommy's up in Cork, so we to protect him as much as anything else, we don't bring him down during the week for training and all that. So if his body is able, and I think it would be able once he be managed correctly, I think the guy has definitely got stuff he can contribute to Kerry. So if he is in there, it'll be something that he's well able for.
It'd be a good option to have.
Yeah, and I hope it works out for him. I'd be delighted if it did. And just biased because I did a piece with him last summer of last year, and I thought he was a really good fella, and he was clearly very disappointed the way his second coming didn't work out. And there's a lot of people in Kerry that were quite annoyed at it, particularly with the 2015 All-Ireland final. Remember that was the one with really bad day. Remember Dublin the weather-wise? Yeah. Remember Pearl, really low score.
Pearl Gooch having to trek back after Philly McMahon all day.
Yeah. But the conditions were appalling and everything. But a lot of people thought he should have been put on rather than Paul Galvin. Remember Paul Galvin had come back out of retirement and he was put on. He actually did okay, Paul Galvin, in fairness. But Tommy Walsh, because Kieran Donaghy came on that day and he caused them a lot of problems. And so there was a feeling within Kerry that another big man going in as well could have made an impact. Yeah. And so he left after the following year's league. He is 31 in February, so he's been out of it for a while. But I know he has been playing really good club football. Yeah. And if this mark rule does come in, that would be a thing as well. It could be, especially with Donaghy gone, it could be a help to have.
Now I wonder, I must say, I have wondered, will we see a raft of Kieran Donaghy prototypes now being once again unleashed on the county scene?
It depends if the mark comes in full time.
Isn't that one of the great difficulties actually facing managers? They're trying to plan for a season and they don't know the rules for the championship. Of course, yeah. Which is an extraordinary thing, actually.
It is, and
it's crazy.
And also for players, the challenge, because a lot of players play are third-level students, so they're going to be playing for their colleges with different rules, and then playing the weekend for their county.
So it's not. Doesn't apply to Sigerson.
No, it's a pre-season competition plus the league,
and it may not go to the league.
Yeah, and also because that's right. Yeah, and if it does go to the end of the league, like some players will be playing club games as well with different rules. So it's very, very odd.
Yeah, look, I've sympathy for them because it is difficult if you're going to trial something like this, but it is a bit messy.
I saw the Examiner did a thing with. They arranged a challenge match between UCD and Carlow under the new rules, and they had up some video of it. And I was looking at some of the marks. I thought were ridiculous, like people catching the ball in their chest.
Oh yeah, and just a 20-metre punt,
and basically getting a free kick for it. And you think that's ridiculous. Why would you get a free kick for that?
No, it doesn't. It's not going to incentivise what they want to incentivise as much as they think. Michael Brick Walsh. Yeah, standing ovation, please. For Brick Walsh.
He is back. New Waterford hurling manager Pádraig Fanning handed a twin boost ahead of their 2019 campaign. As you mentioned, Brick Walsh is in training with the data ahead of what will be a 17th year with the hurlers. Walsh this year set a new record of 74 senior intercounty appearances. Meanwhile, Shane Bennett has returned to the panel, having opted out of 2018.
Good man, mate. There's no keeping a good man down. Yeah. Just one other thought, by the way, in the advance mark is, could you definitively, in an All-Ireland final with the eyes of the world on you, tell the difference between an 18.5-metre kick and a 20-metre kick?
No, of course not.
So do you give the mark or not?
Yeah, well,
what do you do?
That's piling pressure on referees who clearly
you're standing
clearly have nothing to do as things stand. Yeah.
Imagine that though, if it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Because Billy Joe Padden was saying, we'll just have to put it at the referee's discretion the other night, and I was saying, well, what if it's Mayo's All Ireland at stake? No discretion.
Or the 5 in a row for Dublin at stake.
I think they'll have to revisit that one because, look, counting the hand passes sounds like no crack, but trying to call an 18.5 versus a 20-metre punt for a mark at a vital stage of the game. How do we do that?
Yeah.
Is my thought. Do you want to fit in the last story?
Yeah, some breaking news from South America. CONMEBOL have set the second leg of the Copa Libertadores final for Sunday, December 9th in...
Qatar?
No.
Bernabeu.
Yes. Well, Joseph.
Okay.
Madrid, Sunday the 9th. We'll have more on that as the evening progresses, but I don't know if both camps, especially Boca, are going to be happy with that one.
That is almost worth fans from Ireland if they have the money and nothing better to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty cool occasion.
Yeah, and it annoys people then who brand you as hipsters, even though it's a massive event.
It's the Champions League final of South America.
Well, for some reason, one of the biggest sporting events in the world can be dismissed as niche and hipster, which is really strange, isn't it?
Just like hurling. Meanwhile, first round of the Hero World Challenge.
Quick,
Bubba Watson leading on 4 under par midway through his opening round. He is a shot clear of Keegan Bradley and Patrick Cantlay and Patrick Reed.
Okay, earlier on, John Giles spoke to Keith Andrews on the Keith Andrews Football Show. We're going to play that for you next.
Off the Ball on Newstalk.
Thanks to Screwfix.ie, championing the trade with a choice of over 20,000 quality trade products.
Christmas. A time for giving. A time for family and friends. A time for creating memories. It can also mean bickering, brawling, calamitous comedy, controversy, disputes and disagreements. And we want to hear all about it. Here on the Moncrief Show, we want your Christmassy fireside tales so we can bring them to life on the wireless. Like the time Sharon's dog stole her neighbour's turkey.
Rover, give that back! Me poor turkey!
So send your adventures, your dramas or your tragedies by emailing afternoon@newstalk.com.
Moncrief's Fireside Tales on Newstalk.
From online security that blocks 19.7 billion threats, analyzes 6 billion emails and detects 1.5 million pieces of malware every day, to tech solutions that allow over 113 million people to meet and generate over 27 million minutes of great ideas every month. Cisco Systems with Exertis Ireland are the secure, intelligent platform providers for digital business of any size. Arrange your call with Cisco today. Visit intelligentit.ie for more details.
The shopping event of the year continues at Harvey Norman. Get Black Friday discounts now. Like the Dyson Kinetic Big Bowl Animal Vacuum for just €349, saving you €50. Or get the KitchenAid Artisan Stand Mixer for just €399, saving you €216. And at Harvey Norman, we've matched all competitors' Black Friday prices, so no need to shop around. The Harvey Norman Black Friday sale, in store and online. Don't miss out.
To celebrate Dublin as a UEFA Euro 2020 host city, the National Football Exhibition is here and free to visit from Sunday, December 2nd to Sunday, December 9th. The first stop is Printworks, Dublin Castle. This free exhibition celebrates 60 years of European Championships and all aspects of football in Ireland. The National Football Exhibition, December 2nd to 9th at the Printworks, Dublin Castle. Download the National Football Exhibition app for details.
Welcome to the Ford Innovate 191 sales event, driving better SUV value for you. Take the incredible Ford Kuga, featuring Ford Sync with touchscreen, smartphone mirroring, leather trim and key-free system. And right now, you can order a 191 Ford Kuga with an amazing 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assistance and 2 years free servicing. All from just €28,450. Ford Innovate, driving better value for you. See it for yourself at your local participating Ford dealer. Offer ends December 10th. Ford, go further. Price excludes delivery and related charges. Terms and conditions apply. See Ford.ie for details.
Mattresses-delivered.ie. Nationwide delivery within 48 hours for free. That's mattresses-delivered.ie. Lowest prices guaranteed. Don't forget the hyphen. T's and C's apply.
Electric Picnic 2019, the Music and Arts Festival. Stradbally Hall, County Laois, August 30th to September 1st, subject to licence. A beautiful 600-acre estate of rolling hills, green landscapes, forests of mystery, and home to Ireland's music soul. With incredible music, art, theatre, comedy, food, and holistic health. It's the most delightfully diverse lineup of the year. Electric Picnic. Tickets on sale this Monday at 9 a.m. See electricpicnic.ie.
Football on Off the Ball.
In association with the faster than ever Boyle Sports app, with hundreds of pre-live and in-play football markets. Download it now. Boyle Sports. Time to play.
So just to remind you, next Friday, December 7th, we're going to be live from the home of Dolphin Rugby Club. That's Musgrave Park for the latest Off the Ball Roadshow in association with Heineken Rugby Club. We will be previewing Munster's Heineken Champions Cup clash with Cast, which is on that weekend in the company of some Dolphin and Munster legends. If you want to be there too, go to offtheball.com/events and you can get your tickets there. The latest Off the Ball Roadshow in association with Heineken Rugby Club. Now, it's a Thursday night. Earlier on today, John Giles was in conversation with Keith Andrews. Here's how they got on.
I'm delighted to say I have John Giles joining me on the phone. John, thanks for taking a little bit of time out.
No bother, Keith.
John, it's been a huge week for Irish football. The decision was made by the FAI last week to relieve Martin of his duties and go in a new direction. Firstly, do you think it was the right decision after a difficult 12 months?
I think so, Keith. When you look back, all international managers anyway have a lifespan, and Martin's been doing the job for 5 years, and the last year hasn't been good. If you look back on the history of it, like Big Jack was the biggest hero we've ever had as a manager, and he was sacked. Trapattoni was sacked. Alf Ramsey was sacked. So it does get to a stage, and I think it got to the stage with Martin last week. There had to be a change.
Yeah, I thought last week, John, when the decision came, I thought for all parties, not even just for the players, for the fans, I thought even for the management team, they looked in the last couple of games in particular against Northern Ireland and Denmark like the fight had gone out of them even.
Yeah, it looked like it. Well, it always does, Keith, when you're having a bad time and the results have been very, very bad. The Northern Ireland and Denmark results, not just the results, but the performances were very, very poor. And you could tell that, it had come to an end. And I think that was the right thing to do.
So the front runners right from the off were Stephen Kenny and Mick McCarthy. I have to be perfectly honest, I was certainly in camp Mick when it came to this group of players and bringing them forward right away. The decision was made, a new structure. It's different. It's a little bit out there, and it's unusual in the way we've gone about it this time. And I have to be honest, I can't believe the negativity and the scepticism that's surrounded it, because I think for the long term of Irish football, with Stephen Kenny involved, and certainly short term with Mick, I think it's a really good appointment.
Well, I think it was a very, very, very good policy, Keith. I think Stephen deserves a shot at it. I think Mick does as well. And it's ideal. The main thing was that Mick agreed to the policy. And so did Kenny, apparently. So, Kenny has had a very, very good time at Dundalk and deserves a shot at it. And I think that he might have been criticised for not having international experience if he had taken the job now. But he's given 18 months to 2 years, Keith, as we know, to take the under-21s, to be with the international team, and to learn about international football. So I think that policy has been very, very, very good.
When we look at Mick and his strengths, John, what would you say they are? I know he's evolved himself since the last time he was in the hot seat with the FAI in Ireland and what he did back in the late 90s and early noughties. But he's done a hell of a lot in his career. What should we be expecting now of Mick as our manager?
Well, an improvement, Keith, in the general play. I think Mick was very unlucky because the Saipan thing didn't make at that particular time. Up to that, he had done very well. And he did very well at Wolverhampton, I think. He did a great job at Ipswich.
He did, yeah.
They were criticised because they were only halfway up the table. Look where they are now. So, and I think Mick is at an age now, he's around the 60 mark, which I think is ideal for international football. So I think Mick will do a very, very good job as he did in the past. And it's a long way back from Saipan anyway, Keith. I think most people, hopefully, I've forgotten about that and just get on with it now.
Yeah, I sincerely hope so, John. And look, after the year we've had, we need to just get behind this regime and get a little bit of positivity around. He's brought in Terry Connor. He's a trusted lieutenant. He's had Terry since his Wolves days when he went in there with Ian Evans and he took over. And I know from personal experience he'll do a very, very good job. He was a coach of mine at Wolves 20 years ago or so. And he's also brought in Robbie Keane. Robbie he announced his retirement yesterday. Was probably still waiting to see what was out there, but he's come into the regime. What have you made of that, John?
Well, I think that's good for the future again, Keith. I don't think he's going to be in a managerial position. I don't think he's ready for that. But Mick has that, as you say, with Terry Connor and that. He has that done. But he can be in the dressing room. And I don't know Robbie at all, but apparently he's a public character. And there's no reason why he can't teach and coach the strikers. I mean, he's one of the best strikers, well, probably the best striker we ever had. So there's no reason why he can't do that. I mean, we have goalkeepers, special coaching for goalkeepers, Keith, as we know. Why not for forwards and for midfield players at times, you know? But I think it's a good appointment, and Mick made a point himself that he's a young fella. You know, he can get on with the younger players. There's a lot of younger players in the squad now, and he'd be a hero of theirs anyway. So he'd have the respect. So overall, again, a good decision.
Yeah, we had one Keane obviously involved in the previous regime, and I think you've made a good point that the strikers that are in this squad now, attacking players, we know we're deficient maybe in certain areas, and that would be one area. And these lads growing up, John, they would have worshipped Robbie Keane. So if he can just try and tap into that and work with those strikers in particular, it could prove a masterstroke by Mick, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think it would, Kate. Again, I go back to, you know, you have goalkeepers coaching for goalkeepers. You know, like if you get an outstanding striker like Robbie, why not help the strikers in a way? Because Mick wasn't a striker. Terry Connor, I don't think, was a striker. So it's all specialised coaching, and no better man, I'd say, than Robbie to do it. So I'd be very positive about the whole situation, Keith.
When we look at Stephen Kenny now in the 21s role, so the way I would look at it, Johnny, I don't know whether you agree or the way you say you've already mentioned about the time he'll have in charge. I just see it as, if you take them as two isolated instances, Mick is the manager here now. I think he's better placed to bring the group of players that we have currently available forward, and Stephen will now get 18 to 20 months in the building, working with our younger players, who we have got very, very talented young players, trying to nurture those through. I just think on paper, Stephen Kenny will be better placed come 2020 to manage the national team. So I think that makes absolute sense.
Oh, definitely, Keith, because like he's going to be in charge for almost 2 years, say for 2 years before he takes over. And he should know every player, every good player in those 2 years that are capable of getting into the full international team. And the other positive about it, Keith, if he's in charge of the underage teams, which I think that's what he is, they can be playing in a way that he wants them to play when he takes over. So, you know, it's a plus, and I think that's the way it should be. You know, and I'd say there might have been some criticism if Stephen took over now, because he said, well, he lacks international experience. Well, he's going to get international experience now, and if he's in charge of the under 21s and the other teams coming under him, as I say, in 2 years' time, he should know all those players, all the good players in Ireland, and how they play and how he wants them to play. So I think that's an ideal preparation for Stephen coming into it at that time.
Yeah, there's been a huge clamour, and it was a bit of a divide, wasn't it, last week? There was Camp Mick, Camp Stephen. In the end, we've kind of got a bit of a mixture of both. And I think one of the aspects has been, which you've just alluded to, the style of play in which Dundalk have played with, not just in the League of Ireland, but also when they've gone on their European exploits. I think that's something that the crowd over here, the general public, would like in an ideal world. Do you feel we have the players to play in the way that maybe they want to?
Well, I don't think it's a question of whether the crowd wants them to play in a certain style. It's what is effective, Keith. You know, and all managers have different styles, but if it's effective, that's the main thing. And we've seen with Stephen, with Dundalk, the way he's played, which is attractive and effective. Yeah. So that's the big thing, you know. I think it's an ideal situation, to be quite honest, Keith.
Yeah, I'm with you, John. Like I said when we first started talking, I can't believe the scepticism around. I think we just need to, at this stage, with the negativity we had for 12 months, we just need to get behind this. There's lots of different permutations that can bring it in any different direction, but let's just deal with them when they come. The draw on Sunday, Johnny, it's Euro 2020 draw in Dublin. We're going to be in pot 3. So a favourable draw will be certainly nice. But do we think qualification is still a realistic aim? Yeah.
Well, of course, Keith. I think there are more teams in it now. I think it's easier to qualify. Well, it's never easier to qualify than it has been, certainly in previous years. And Mick has a bit of time. He doesn't have a lot of time, but he's a bit of time to get the lads together. And I think the thing is, if we play as well as we can, we're as good as any of the teams we played. We had Northern Ireland playing us there a couple of weeks ago, and they played us off the pitch. But on paper, they don't have any better players than us. So it's a matter of making the most of what. That's what any manager can do: make the most of what you've got at your disposal. And that hasn't been happening for the last year or so. So I think Mick will get the best out of the players he has at his disposal, and then we play better.
Football on Off the Ball.
In association with the faster-than-ever Boyle Sports app. Multiples made easy and personalised content on every sport. Download it now. Boyle Sports. Time to play.
Look ahead. As far as the eye can see. That's a big future ahead of you. It's as big as your imagination. As big as your ambition. Explore your future at DIT Open Days on Friday the 30th of November from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and on Saturday the 1st of December from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And in January 2019, DIT, along with IT Tala and IT Blanchardstown, will become TU Dublin, Ireland's first technological university. There's a big future ahead of you at TU Dublin.
'Twas the night before Christmas and all through the house. New appliances had been installed with a click of a mouse. A fridge freezer, a dishwasher, new oven and hob. A 50-inch TV and speakers, just the job. You see, at Appliances Delivered, we always endeavour to make each festive season the best one ever. And with deliveries up to Christmas, you can count on us to get Christmas sorted without any fuss. AppliancesDelivered.ie. Christmas delivered.
The new Mercedes-Benz X-Class pickup has arrived. The first premium brand pickup with a starting price of just €39,950. The Mercedes-Benz X-Class is available to order now. Find your nearest X-Class dealer at mercedes-benz.ie. Recommended retail price includes VAT, excludes dealer-related charges.
Your partner's unique, romantic, exceptional. So for Christmas, get your special someone a voucher for a relaxing spa break at Monart. It's also unique, romantic, exceptional. And because Monart has been voted one of the very best spas in the world, you can relax too. Visit monart.ie. Something special for your someone special.
You hear that? That's time going by. Time you've probably spent worrying about the future for your business. But did you know you still have time to get an internationally recognized seal of approval for your company? NSAI can help put your business at a more competitive advantage that could increase your market share, create a better overall perception of your company, and build higher demand for your product. Visit nsai.ie to get your business on track to internationally recognized certification today.
Make it festive at Woody's this Christmas. Start with the perfect pine. Artificial Christmas trees are up to half price. Get creative with up to half price on all Christmas decorations. Add a little shine with all LED Christmas lights, now half price. And finish with a bang. All crackers and baubles, also half price. Woody's, we're all homemakers. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
Hi, I'm Jamie Heaslip, and I believe in the power of peer-to-peer business financing with Flender.ie. Investing in Irish business is important to me, so much so that I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. Just go to flender.ie/Jamie and send us your proposals. I'll be choosing 10 companies that I'll be backing personally.
Flender.ie is a revolutionary new type of financing. Unlike some other lenders, you could have a decision and the funds in your account in just 24 hours. For more information, go to flender.ie. Terms and conditions apply.
Football on Off the Ball.
In association with the faster-than-ever Boyle Sports app for exclusive price enhancements on the biggest games around. Download it now. Boyle Sports. Time to play.
Moving on to Champions League matters, John. We were watching Manchester United the other night. In the end, just about got there with a Marouane Fellaini last-minute goal. What did you make of the performance the other night?
I thought it was very poor, Keith. I didn't think they played well at all. And they got away with it again in many ways, you know.